You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Most people think their thoughts define them, but the real game changer? Realizing those thoughts aren't even yours. They're echoes, passed down from parents, peers, trauma, media. But if you can learn to silence that noise and choose your frequency, your whole reality changes. And it starts right now. Part 1. The noise isn't yours. Breaking the thought illusion. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness beneath them. And once you see that clearly, everything begins to shift. The inherited static. Let's start with a hard truth. Most of what you think isn't even yours. That voice in your head, the one narrating your day, critiquing your decisions, rehashing old arguments in the shower, whispering doubts at 2 a.m., that voice has been with you so long, it feels like it is you. But it's not. That voice is a mixtape, recorded by other people, layered with beliefs you didn't consciously choose, played on repeat so often that you stopped questioning the track list. Think about it. Who told you what success should look like? Who decided how much love you deserve? Who gave you your definition of enough? Was it really you? Or was it your parents' expectations? Your culture's programming? Your childhood wounds? A random teacher who made you feel small? A friend who betrayed you? A world that told you to shrink to fit in? The truth is this: most people live their entire lives obeying a voice they never chose. And that is the starting line of your quantum shift. The illusion of thought. Let's break it down. Thoughts arise, one after another, thousands a day. But have you ever watched them? Not listened, watched, observed, with detachment, as if they were clouds floating by. Here's what you'll find. Thoughts are often repetitive, reactive, and riddled with fear. They're not fresh insights. They're old recordings, ancient fears disguised as inner guidance. It's like you're tuned to a radio station that's been stuck on the same playlist for decades. And yet, we believe it. We trust it. We make decisions based on it. But here's the twist. A thought is not a truth. A thought is just a signal. Signals can be distorted. They can be hijacked. They can be inherited. The voice that criticizes you might be your mother's. The fear of failure, your teacher's shaming, the belief that you must constantly prove yourself, a childhood wound trying to protect you. You're not broken. You're just replaying. You are not the voice. You are the awareness. Imagine walking into a room where a TV is playing. Loud, distracting, dramatic. You didn't choose the channel, but it's blaring. It fills your awareness. Now imagine you suddenly remember you're holding the remote. You pause, you press, mute, you breathe. Suddenly the space opens, and in that silence, you feel something else. Not absence, not emptiness, presence. That's what it feels like when you realize you are not the noise. You are the one who hears it. This is where the quantum shift begins. Because when you become the observer, not the actor, everything changes. When you create distance between you and your mind's chatter, you reclaim something profound. Choice. You get to decide what to believe, what to release, what to become. But that shift doesn't come from reading books or reciting affirmations. It comes from stillness, from witnessing the storm without getting swept into it. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness beneath them. And once you see that clearly, everything begins to shift. The inherited static. Let's start with a hard truth. Most of what you think isn't even yours. That voice in your head, the one narrating your day, critiquing your decisions, rehashing old arguments in the shower, whispering doubts at 2 a.m., that voice has been with you so long it feels like it is you. But it's not. That voice is a mixtape, recorded by other people, layered with beliefs you didn't consciously choose, played on repeat so often that you stopped questioning the track list. Think about it. Who told you what success should look like? Who decided how much love you deserve? Who gave you your definition of enough? Was it really you? Or was it your parents' expectations? Your culture's programming? Your childhood wounds? A random teacher who made you feel small? A friend who betrayed you? A world that told you to shrink to fit in? The truth is this: Most people live their entire lives obeying a voice they never chose. And that is the starting line of your quantum shift. The illusion of thought. Let's break it down. Thoughts arise, one after another, thousands a day. But have you ever watched them? Not listened, watched, observed, with detachment, as if they were clouds floating by. Here's what you'll find. Thoughts are often repetitive, reactive, and riddled with fear. They're not fresh insights. They're old recordings, ancient fears disguised as inner guidance. It's like you're tuned to a radio station that's been stuck on the same playlist for decades. And yet, we believe it. We trust it. We make decisions based on it. But here's the twist. A thought is not a truth. A thought is just a signal. Signals can be distorted. They can be hijacked. They can be inherited. The voice that criticizes you might be your mother's. The fear of failure, your teacher's shaming, the belief that you must constantly prove yourself, a childhood wound trying to protect you. You're not broken. You're just replaying. You are not the voice. You are the awareness. Imagine walking into a room where a TV is playing. Loud, distracting, dramatic. You didn't choose the channel, but it's blaring. It fills your awareness. Now imagine you suddenly remember. You're holding the remote. You pause, you press mute, you breathe. Suddenly the space opens. And in that silence, you feel something else. Not absence, not emptiness. Presence. That's what it feels like when you realize you are not the noise. You are the one who hears it. This is where the quantum shift begins. Because when you become the observer, not the actor, everything changes. When you create distance between you and your mind's chatter, you reclaim something profound. Choice. You get to decide what to believe, what to release, what to become. But that shift doesn't come from reading books or reciting affirmations. It comes from stillness, from witnessing the storm, without getting swept into it. Thought is not self, it's software. Think of your mind like an operating system. From childhood, it's been downloaded with apps. The I'm not good enough app, the what will people think app, the hustle or you're lazy app, the love must be earned app. Each app installed by different sources, family, school, media, trauma, and you've been running those apps automatically, unconsciously, for years. But here's the good news. Just like software, these programs can be uninstalled. The first step, seeing them clearly, naming them, bringing them from the shadows of the subconscious into the light of awareness. Until you name the program runs you. Why awareness changes everything. Let's go deeper. In neuroscience, there's something called metacognition, the ability to think about your thinking. It's what separates humans from animals. It's also the gateway to transformation. Because when you observe a thought instead of becoming it, the brain actually starts to rewire. Neuroplasticity kicks in. New pathways open. Old triggers lose their power. It's not woo, it's science. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you say, that's just a thought, not a truth, you weaken the old wiring. You unplug from the static and tune into signal. And here's where it gets beautifully quantum. The observer changes the observed. As you witness yourself with compassion, your field begins to shift. That's not philosophy, that's physics. The loop that keeps you stuck, most people live in a feedback loop. They feel anxious. They think, something's wrong with me. They try to fix it. They fail or get tired. That reinforces the belief that they're broken. Rinse and repeat. But the only thing truly wrong is the belief that something is wrong. This is the self-fulfilling trap of unconscious thought. You become what you believe, not because it's true, but because you keep tuning to that frequency. Thoughts are not passive, they're generative. They shape your biochemistry, your decisions, your relationships, your future, and most of them are just noise until you wake up. Generational echoes, why you didn't start the loop. Let's take this even further. The voices you hear in your head, they didn't start with you. Your mother's self-doubt, Her mother's, your father's scarcity, his father's. Beliefs move generationally. Trauma gets inherited epigenetically. Patterns echo across time. You may be carrying shame that was never yours, wearing guilt like a hand-me-down coat, living in a cage built by someone else's fear. But just because you didn't build the cage doesn't mean you can't walk out of it. Awareness is the key. A practice to begin the shift. Let's do something together. Pause. Close your eyes or soften your gaze if you're listening while walking. Take a deep breath in and let it go slowly. Now ask yourself, whose voice am I hearing right now? Is it mine, or is it someone else's fear I've mistaken for truth? What would I feel if I stopped believing this voice? Wait. Listen. What arises may surprise you. You may feel grief, or relief, or nothing. That's okay. The point isn't to fix the thought. It's to realize you're not the thought. That moment of observation, that's the frequency shift. And every time you practice it, your signal becomes clearer. Thought is a compass, not a commander. Once you see thoughts for what they are, data, not directives, you reclaim your compass. Now you can say, this thought feels like fear, not truth. This reaction is my old trauma, not my current reality. This belief helped me survive, but it's not helping me thrive. From there, you can choose differently, not because you should, but because you can. This is sovereignty. This is the start of quantum authorship. This is you becoming the conscious creator of your field. Why this matters, let's land this. You are not your thoughts. You are not the voice in your head. You are not the stories you inherited. You are the space between the words. You are the awareness that hears. You are the consciousness that chooses. And in that choice lies your greatest power. The power to shift frequencies, to dismantle old programming, to stop chasing and start radiating. The quantum shift doesn't begin out there. It starts right here in your awareness of what is not you. Because once you know what you are not, you're finally free to become who you are. What's next? In part 2, we go deeper into the next layer of transformation. Stillness as a portal to clarity. Why the world teaches you to fear it, and how reclaiming silence reboots your entire energetic system. If part 1 woke something up in you, part 2 will show you how to live from that clarity, so the shift becomes not just mental, but embodied. Part 2, stillness is the frequency of power. Why you've been running from the one thing that could set you free. Stillness isn't the absence of movement, it's the birthplace of clarity. A world addicted to motion. We live in a world that rewards the hustle. Wake up early, push harder, achieve more, crush goals, post about it, repeat. Stillness? That's for lazy people. Dreamers, mystics, monks on mountaintops, or at least that's what we've been told. But what if the very thing we've been trained to avoid, silence, calm, presence, isn't a liability, but the source of our deepest power? What if your inability to slow down isn't ambition, it's addiction, not to achievement, but to chaos? The hidden cost of noise. Think about it. When was the last time you were truly still? No scrolling, no background music, no multitasking, just you, with your breath, with your body, with the present moment. For most, the answer is rarely. We avoid stillness like it's the enemy. We fill the quiet with content, with stimulation, with things to fix, prove, and polish. Why? Because silence reveals what noise conceals. In the stillness, there's nowhere to hide, no one to impress, no badge to earn. There's just you and everything you've been avoiding feeling. The nervous system's addiction to chaos. Here's the science. If you grew up in an environment of unpredictability, emotional volatility, financial instability, chronic stress, your nervous system became wired for alertness. You learned to be hyper-aware, to anticipate problems, to seek control, and as strange as it sounds, calm feels threatening to a system addicted to vigilance. You may say you want peace, but if your internal landscape only knows stress, peace feels unfamiliar, and what's unfamiliar feels unsafe. So you unconsciously sabotage it. You start arguments when things are going well. You chase people who don't love you back. You abandon quiet moments with distractions, not because you're broken, but because your inner world equates chaos with home. Stillness is not emptiness, it's density. Here's the reframe. Stillness is not the absence of movement, it's the presence of essence. When the noise fades, you don't disappear, you emerge. The real you, the quiet you, the magnetic, intentional, grounded you. In physics, the vacuum of space isn't nothing. It's potential. It holds infinite possibility. That's stillness. In meditation, the goal isn't to stop thinking, it's to see that you are not your thoughts. Stillness isn't a void, it's a portal. The muddy glass analogy picture, a glass of water filled with sediment. Shake it and everything becomes cloudy. Let it sit and clarity returns. Your mind is the same. When you're always doing, always reacting, always chasing, you're shaking the glass. But when you sit in stillness, the sediment settles. Your perceptions clear. Your energy recalibrates. Insight arises. Calm takes root. Truth becomes visible. It's not that the answers weren't there before. It's that you were too stirred up to see them. Why we resist the very thing that heals. Let's go deeper into the paradox. You crave clarity. You long for peace. You yearn to feel whole. But the path to that state, stillness, feels uncomfortable. Why? Because stillness surfaces what's unresolved. When the distractions fade, the discomfort rises. Old emotions, lingering grief, unmet needs, forgotten dreams. So we rush to fill the void. Scroll for an hour. Call someone we don't really like. Open yet another productivity app. But every time we avoid the stillness, we reinforce a dangerous belief that our power lies outside us. And that's the biggest lie of all. Stillness as a recharge station. Imagine your mind as a battery. Every interaction, decision, thought, it drains energy. Most people live in a constant state of depletion. But stillness? Stillness is a recharge station. When you pause, you plug in. You shift from depletion to regeneration, from reaction to creation. You're not wasting time. You're refueling your frequency. Athletes use rest to recover. Musicians use silence to shape rhythm. Artists use white space to create contrast. Why would your soul be any different? The biology of stillness. Stillness doesn't just feel good. It changes you physiologically. It reduces cortisol, your stress hormone. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. It increases coherence between heart and brain. It improves immune function and decision-making. In short, stillness brings your body back to signal. It quiets the static of survival and opens the channel to intuition. The power of the pause. In music, the silence between notes is what creates rhythm. In storytelling, the pause creates suspense. In martial arts, the moment of stillness before a strike determines its power. And in your life, the pause between stimulus and response determines your future. It's in that pause where you can say, "This isn't about me. This is an old pattern. I don't need to react." That pause, that tiny moment of stillness, is where your entire life can pivot. You're the ocean, not the waves. Emotions rise like waves. Anger, fear, joy, sadness. Each one crests and passes. But beneath all that turbulence is something vast, deep, unchanging. You are the ocean. The waves are just weather systems. When you live from stillness, you stop being the waves. You watch them. This doesn't mean you won't feel deeply. It means you won't drown in what you feel. That's emotional sovereignty. That's quantum authorship. But I don't have time to be still. Let's dismantle the biggest lie of modern life. I'm too busy to slow down. You're too overwhelmed not to. Stillness isn't about having free time. It's about creating inner time. It's not measured in minutes. It's measured in presence. Even a single breath, fully felt, can reset your nervous system. Even 30 seconds of awareness can shift your entire trajectory. This isn't about meditating for hours. It's about reclaiming your moment. The world will try to pull you out. Let's be real. The moment you choose stillness, the world will resist. Notifications, expectations, deadlines, drama. But remember, distraction isn't random. It's a test. Each pull is an invitation. Will you stay present or check out? Will you tune inward or reach outward? Will you trust stillness or chase noise? Presence is power, but it's a choice, a radical one, a rebellious one you'll have to remake over and over again. Stillness reveals resonance. In quantum physics, frequency defines interaction. Low frequencies attract chaos. High frequencies attract coherence. But you can't raise your frequency if you're too busy to feel it. Stillness allows you to tune, to feel, to resonate, to calibrate. And when you start living from resonance, not reaction, you don't just think differently, you attract differently. Your reality begins to reconfigure. Stillness practice. The 3-breath reset. Try this now. Sit or stand still. Take 1 deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out. Again, slow, full inhale and release. 1 more. Now pause. Feel the moment. Listen. Just be. Notice what shifts. That's not nothing. That's signal. Do this once a day, then twice. Then whenever life feels noisy, this is how you anchor into yourself. Final reflection. What stillness really is. Stillness isn't a retreat. It's a revolution. It's not about detaching from life. It's about entering it fully, without the noise. You don't find clarity by doing more. You find it by feeling deeper. Every time you choose presence over panic, depth over distraction, resonance over reaction, you're tuning your entire field, not just spiritually, biologically, energetically, creatively. And here's the final truth. Stillness isn't the end of the journey. It's the doorway into all of it. What's next? In part 3, we'll explore what happens after you reclaim stillness. You become the signal. The frequency you emit begins to shape your world. You no longer respond to life. You initiate it. We'll uncover how emotion is energy, how your field broadcasts in every moment, and how your inner world creates your outer experience. The shift is already happening, and it's just getting started. Part 3, you are the broadcast, the physics of emotion, how your vibration shapes reality without you realizing it. You are not just experiencing life, you're transmitting it. Your energy is not silent. It speaks before you do. You are always broadcasting. Whether you realize it or not, every moment of your life is a transmission. You're not just thinking thoughts. You're emitting frequency, not just feeling emotions. You're vibrating them. You are a living, breathing signal tower. And the world, people, opportunities, even coincidence, responds to your energetic broadcast, not your spoken words. Let that land, not your to-do list, not your resume, not your affirmations. Your frequency is your message. Physics, not philosophy. Let's make this crystal clear. This isn't just spiritual talk, it's quantum reality. Zoom into your hand, past skin, cells, and molecules. What do you find? Not solidity, not structure. You find space, vibration, movement. You find energy. At the subatomic level, you're a dance of oscillating particles, fields of probability, not certainty. You're not a fixed object. You're a fluid field. And that field, it resonates. Everything has a frequency. Just like musical notes have pitch, emotions have resonance. Fear vibrates low. It contracts. Shame sinks. It dulls your signal. Gratitude expands. It elevates. Joy shines. It radiates. Love calibrates at the highest frequency of all. This isn't metaphor. It's measurable. In fact, Dr. David Hawkins' scale of consciousness maps this vibrational spectrum, from shame at 20 hertz to love at 500 plus hertz. So when you feel anxious, overwhelmed, or stuck, it's not just in your head, it's in your field. Your body is the antenna, your life is the echo. Resonance, the law you're already living by. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt drained? Or met someone else and felt lit up, even if they said little? That's not chemistry. That's resonance. Your field is always interacting with other fields, people, spaces, even events. And resonance dictates what aligns, what repels, and what attracts. It's why some rooms feel suffocating, some songs bring you to tears, some people feel like home before they say a word. You're not imagining it, you're receiving it, and you're also sending. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Let's bust a myth. You've been told, just ask for what you want, visualize it, repeat the affirmation. But here's the truth. The universe doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your energetic signature. You can say, I want abundance all day, but if you're vibrating in lack, if you feel unworthy, unsafe, undeserving, what do you think gets broadcast? That's right, lack. Your frequency trumps your language. Alignment over affirmation. So what's the answer? It's not to fake positivity, it's to feel into alignment. This means feeling safe before the money arrives, feeling love before the relationship shows up, feeling peace before the chaos ends. Because your internal state doesn't just reflect reality, it creates it. It's the dial that tunes your experience. If you shift the dial, you shift the channel. Same space, different broadcast. The dial of consciousness, imagine your consciousness as a radio dial. Each belief, emotion, and expectation is a tuning mechanism. Turn it towards scarcity, and you receive stories of not enough. Turn it toward abundance, and suddenly opportunity appears. Not because it wasn't there before, but because now you can perceive it. Our brain is a filter. It deletes information that doesn't match the frequency you're tuned to. So when you start vibrating at a new level, gratitude, joy, enoughness, your filter opens, and the world begins to mirror that back. The emotional feedback loop. Here's what most people miss. Your emotions are not random. They're a feedback system. They're telling you how aligned or misaligned you are with your desired frequency. If you feel contracted, something's out of tune. If you feel spacious, you're getting closer. If you feel inspired, you've hit resonance. This is why ignoring your emotions is not strength. It's sabotage. Emotions are energy in motion. When felt fully, they move. When resisted, they stagnate. You don't need to fix your emotions. You need to listen to them. Emotion as creative force. Let's flip the script. Most people believe thoughts create reality, but in truth, emotions create reality, because emotions hold the charge. A thought without feeling is static. A thought with feeling becomes a broadcast. This is why your dominant emotional state becomes your energetic baseline. Your life can only rise to meet the frequency you're willing to sustain. Want a more beautiful life? Don't just think better, feel better. Don't just affirm, attune. Tuning practice, emotional frequency check-in. Try this right now. Pause, close your eyes. Ask yourself, what's the dominant emotion I've been broadcasting today? Is it stress? Is it rushing? Is it numbness? Is it joy? Is it calm? Whatever it is, don't judge. Just notice. That's step one. Step two, ask, what frequency would I like to transmit instead? Peace, confidence, openness? Now breathe that into your chest, even for 20 seconds. Anchor it, feel it, let it ripple. This isn't visualization, it's vibrational alignment. The field doesn't lie. You can wear the best outfit, say the perfect words, smile at the right time, but if your frequency doesn't match your appearance, people feel it. They may not know why, but they won't trust you. Something will feel off. That's because the field doesn't lie. You are always communicating, not with your mouth, but with your presence. And when your inner frequency aligns with your outer expression, that's charisma, that's magnetism, that's authenticity. How your broadcast shapes the world. Here's the beautiful part. As you shift your frequency, your external life begins to rearrange. People start responding differently. Old relationships fall away. New ones emerge. Opportunities arise without effort. Serendipities increase. It's not magic, it's mechanics. You're changing your signal, so your world recalibrates to match. This is the real law of attraction, not wishful thinking, not forced positivity, but embodied frequency. Why logic isn't enough? The logical mind wants proof, data, control. But the field responds to coherence, not calculation. You could understand every metaphysical law on paper and still manifest chaos if your emotions are out of tune. This is why transformation doesn't happen through thinking alone. You don't become the frequency through intellect. You become it through integration, breath, body, emotion, intuition. This is where your power lives. Emotional sovereignty. When you begin to master your broadcast, you become emotionally sovereign. You no longer outsource your state to circumstances. Instead of saying, I'm anxious because of this person, I'm sad because life is hard. I'm angry because of what they said. You start saying, this is my field, and I choose how I tune it. This doesn't mean bypassing pain. It means owning your signal. You don't suppress emotion. You alchemize it. A quick story, optional anecdote. A woman I once coached had spent years affirming abundance, visualizing success, setting intentions. But deep down, she was vibrating unworthiness. No matter what she did, her reality didn't shift. Until one day she stopped trying to fix her life and started feeling into wholeness. She began anchoring her mornings with deep presence. She felt gratitude before there was proof. She practiced self-worth in silence, not just in words. Within weeks, her business shifted. Her relationships softened. Her joy returned. Not because of what she did, because of who she became. That's coherence. That's broadcast. Final reflection. You are the frequency. You are not a passive receiver. You are an active broadcaster. Your life is not something happening to you. It's something being shaped through you. Every thought, every emotion, every breath is a ripple. When you tune to fear, you magnetize resistance. When you tune to alignment, you open gateways. So ask yourself, what frequency am I living in right now? Is this who I want to be? What would it feel like to broadcast something higher? Then feel that, embody that, breathe that, even if just for a minute, because that's all it takes to begin shifting the signal. What's next? In part 4, we go even deeper into the engine of your frequency, your heart. You'll learn how your heart broadcasts a field more powerful than your brain, how your coherence, or lack of it, affects your nervous system, intuition, and reality, and how to recalibrate your most powerful tuner for emotional alignment and intuitive guidance. The mind broadcasts. But the heart commands. Get ready to meet the real signal tower. Part 4. The heart is the tuner. Reclaiming inner coherence. How to align your inner compass and reshape your reality from the inside out. You've been told to follow your heart. What if that wasn't just poetic advice, but literal, biological truth? The forgotten intelligence. Most of us believe the brain is the command center of our lives. It reasons, it calculates, it plans, it speaks. We've been taught that if we can think it through, we can fix it. But beneath all that logic, beneath all the noise, beats a different kind of intelligence. Quiet, steady, coherent. The heart. The heart doesn't shout, but it signals. And those signals shape your biology, your emotions, your perception, your frequency, and ultimately, your reality. You think your brain is in charge, but it's not. Science has flipped the script. Research from the Heart Math Institute and leading neurocardiology labs has revealed something revolutionary. The heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Let that sink in. The organ you've been taught is just a pump, is also a messenger, a harmonizer, a command center in its own right. These signals influence your nervous system balance, emotional regulation, intuition, cognitive function, decision-making clarity. When your heart is coherent, your brain follows. When it's not, you operate in stress, confusion, or emotional reactivity. The heart has a field. The heart produces an electromagnetic field that extends 3 to 6 feet beyond your body in all directions. This field is measurable, detectable, influenceable, and it's not just electrical, it carries emotional information. Think about that. When you walk into a room and feel tension, Even if no one says a word, you're picking up on the heart fields around you. You're reading signals before language even begins. Your field is doing the talking, and it's being read too. Coherence, the signal of inner harmony. So what does it mean to be in coherence? Coherence is not perfection. It's not constant joy. Coherence is when your heart rhythms become smooth, stable, and harmonious, aligned with the rhythms of breath, brain, and nervous system. In that state, everything flows. Thoughts become clearer, emotions become digestible, intuition becomes stronger, reactions become responses. It's like all your instruments are finally in tune. Your biology becomes music. Incoherence, the static that blocks your signal. When you live in stress, fear, frustration, or resentment, your heart rhythms become jagged. That state is called incoherence. It short-circuits your brain, hijacks your nervous system, distorts your perception, shrinks your intuition. You might think you're calm on the surface, but if your heart is in disarray, your signal is scrambled. This is why you can't fake alignment. You either radiate coherence or you don't. The power of heart-first living. So why is this important? Because when your heart leads, your mind doesn't need to overcompensate. You don't have to intellectualize everything. You don't have to control every detail. You begin to feel your way forward, which is more accurate than thinking alone. Intuition lives here. Emotional clarity lives here. Energetic alignment begins here. Your heart doesn't speak in words. It speaks in resonance, and it's always speaking. The question is, are you listening? The biology of heart alignment. When your heart becomes coherent, the effects ripple throughout your body. Cortisol, stress hormone, decreases DHEA, anti-aging hormone, increases brainwave coherence, improves digestion, immunity, and sleep regulate. Emotional resilience strengthens creativity and problem-solving improve. This isn't just good vibes, it's biological optimization. Your body moves from survival to creation, from contraction to expansion. You don't just feel better, you broadcast better. Practice. Heart coherence in 60 seconds. Let's do this together. Step 1. Bring your attention to the area around your heart. Step 2. Breathe slowly and deeply, as if you're inhaling through your heart. Inhale 5 seconds. Exhale 5 seconds. Step 3. Activate a renewing emotion, like gratitude, appreciation, or love. Recall a moment when you felt it. Let it rise. Keep breathing. Feel the warmth in your chest. Stay here for 60 seconds. You've just entered coherence. That's not imagination. That's alignment. That's your new baseline. Why most people avoid the heart? So why don't we live here all the time? Simple. We're conditioned to bypass emotion. Vulnerability is seen as weakness. Logic is glorified. Feelings are too much. Pain is something to get over, not move through. But when we suppress the heart, we suppress the very thing that makes life meaningful. You can't manifest love while blocking your capacity to feel. You can't tune to abundance while numbing your heart's longing. You can't embody peace while ignoring inner chaos. What you repress in the heart distorts in the field. The trauma that disrupts the tuner. If your heart feels closed, there's a reason. Often it comes from emotional betrayal, childhood neglect, grief and loss, abandonment, shame. These experiences send a signal. It's not safe to feel. So we armor up, we go cold, we default to control. But here's the paradox. The armor doesn't protect your heart. It blocks your signal. You don't need to be fearless to be free. You just need to feel fully, gently, honestly. Because when emotion is felt, it moves, and when it moves, it transforms. Drop the mask, reclaim the signal. Most people walk through life performing confidence while hiding insecurity, performing happiness while masking grief, performing strength while collapsing inside. But here's the truth. The more honest your field, the more magnetic your reality. You don't have to be polished to be powerful. You don't have to pretend to be coherent to manifest coherence. You just have to let the heart open, even a little, even imperfectly. Because real manifestation begins with emotional congruence, not perfect alignment, honest alignment. Your heart is a tuning fork. Here's how the heart works at the quantum level. It's like a tuning fork. Whatever frequency you resonate at, life begins to match. Not instantly, not dramatically, but subtly, accurately, gradually. You attract people whose nervous systems feel safe in your presence. You magnetize opportunities that match your emotional blueprint. You experience events that reflect your level of coherence. This isn't about control, it's about calibration. If you tune the fork, the song changes. Daily tune-up. Heart-first living. Here's a simple way to live from coherence. Morning. Start your day with 3 minutes of heart-centered breathing. Feel gratitude before doing anything else. Midday. When feeling scattered, pause. Breathe. Ask, what does my heart need right now? Evening. Reflect. Not on what you accomplished, but on what you felt, what you noticed, what touched you. This rewires you from performance to presence, from pressure to resonance. Your heart creates the field that others feel. Ever walked into a room and instantly felt safe or tense? That's not energy you imagined. That's energy you entered. And guess what? You're doing the same to every space you walk into. Your heart's coherence or incoherence affects others. You can anchor calm. You can amplify chaos. You can stabilize the room without saying a word. That's field intelligence. That's embodied leadership. That's heart-based transformation. The heart is compass. You don't have to know the full path. You don't have to plan every step. You just have to keep asking, is this in coherence with my heart? Does this expand me or contract me? Am I choosing from fear or alignment? And let that guide you. You'll move slower, yes, but more accurately, more truthfully, more magnetically. And in the long run, you'll arrive faster because you'll waste less energy on detours. Final reflection. You were always the tuner. The biggest illusion is that you're waiting for life to deliver something, a sign, a breakthrough, a result, a permission slip. But the deeper truth, you were never waiting. You were always tuning. You don't have to chase coherence. You are coherence. Beneath the noise, beneath the trauma, beneath the conditioning. Your job isn't to fabricate the frequency. Your job is to remember it, feel it, anchor it, live from it. That's what it means to reclaim your signal. That's what it means to live heart first. What's next? In part 5, we complete the transformation. We'll explore embodiment. What it really means to become the frequency you seek, not just occasionally, but consistently. How to stop waiting and start radiating. And how to live in alignment with your truth moment by moment. The final shift isn't intellectual, it's identity level. You don't attract peace, you become it, and the world responds accordingly. Part 5. You are the path. Shift happens when you become it. The end of seeking, the beginning of embodiment. You've spent your life chasing the feeling. Now you realize you were always the source. The endless search. Let's start with a question. What are you chasing? A breakthrough, a relationship, a deeper purpose, a healed version of yourself? Now ask why, not what you want, but what you believe it will give you. Peace, safety, freedom, confidence, worth. That feeling you're chasing, that's not in the thing. It's in the frequency of the thing. And here's the twist. You don't need to wait for life to deliver it. You can begin broadcasting it now. From thinking to becoming. You've read the books, watched the videos, journaled, visualized, affirmed, even prayed. And still, the shift feels distant. That's because the transformation you're seeking doesn't happen through strategy. It happens through embodiment. Not thinking about the new version of you, not talking about it, not planning for it, becoming it, living it in real time, feeling it before the evidence shows up, embodying the identity now. Because the field doesn't respond to effort, it responds to coherence. Identity first, reality second. Your current reality is a reflection, not of your desires, but of your identity. You manifest not what you want, but what you are. So the question is not, how do I get what I want? The real question is, Who am I being that keeps broadcasting the absence of it? That changes the game. You stop asking for peace and start becoming peace. You stop begging for love and start embodying love. You stop searching for clarity and start radiating it. Reality doesn't shift when you earn it. It shifts when you align with it. Living from the frequency, not toward it. Most people live in a loop. Set a goal. Try to feel worthy enough to pursue it. Delay joy until it's achieved. Burnout or self-sabotage. Start again. But what if the path isn't about getting there? What if it's about tuning here? What if every moment is a training ground for coherence? When you embody the energy of the outcome now, before it arrives, your field collapses time. The future you becomes the present you, and reality rushes to match it. Becoming the frequency you seek, ask yourself, if I already had the love, peace, success, freedom I desire, how would I speak, walk, breathe, react, treat others, treat myself? Now, begin. Not in perfection, in practice. Start showing up as the version of you that no longer needs to chase because they've already become. That's embodiment. That's the quantum shift. Resistance as a teacher. Let's be real. The moment you start embodying your new frequency, resistance will rise. Old beliefs will whisper, you're faking it. Your nervous system will scream, this isn't safe. Your environment may not yet reflect the new you. That's not failure. That's feedback. Every old emotion, every limiting thought, every energetic wobble, that's not a sign to stop. It's a sign to integrate. Your system is recalibrating. Let it. Stay steady, stay soft, stay open. This is how identity becomes embodied. Drop the masks, reclaim the frequency. You don't need to impress. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to earn permission to feel good. You are the permission. You are the path. When you drop the mask of performance, of perfection, of protection, you return to resonance. You don't need to feel confident all the time. You just need to feel honest. Alignment is truth in motion. Embodiment is frequency made visible. And the world responds to your truth, not your image. The observer effect. Applied to you. In quantum physics, the observer changes the behavior of particles simply by observing them. The act of attention transforms reality. Now apply this inward. When you observe yourself with compassion, you begin to change. Not because you force a new version, but because you witness the old one melting. You don't become powerful by fixing your pain. You become powerful by no longer identifying with it. You shift from weather to sky, from reaction to awareness, from seeking to being. Practical embodiment, micro moments of truth. Let's make this tangible. Embodiment is not a performance, it's a practice. It happens in micro moments. Choosing to pause before reacting, speaking from truth instead of pattern, breathing into fear instead of escaping it, letting your heart lead even when your head doubts, feeling the emotion fully without trying to fix it. These small shifts create quantum ripples. They reinforce the new field. They embed the new identity. They normalize the new vibration. Until one day you're not trying to be the frequency, you are the frequency. Embodiment exercise. Feel it now. Try this. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly, deeply. Now ask, what am I waiting for before I allow myself to feel how I want to feel? Is it a number in your bank account? A message from someone? A certain weight? A sign? Now, drop it and instead ask, what's the emotion I believe that will give me? Can I feel it now? Not fully, but faintly? Can I practice radiating it, not perfectly, but truthfully? Hold that frequency for just 60 seconds. That's how embodiment begins. Your field reconfigures reality. As you practice embodiment, your field shifts. The change becomes visible. People treat you differently, not because they've changed, but because you did. Opportunities arise, not from force, but from coherence. Resistance decreases, not because life got easier, but because you stopped fighting it. The external mirrors the internal, not by magic, by design. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you allow yourself to become. Identity is a frequency. Here's a radical truth. Your identity isn't fixed. It's a frequency you've been practicing, and you can choose a new one. Not by force, but by feeling. Ask yourself, what version of me is ready to emerge? What would it feel like to live from that place now? What old identity am I willing to shed? Not because it was wrong, but because I've outgrown it. This isn't a new mindset. It's a new field. You don't achieve your future. You align with it. You don't wait for a better life. You become the version of you who creates it. The end of seeking. Here's what no one tells you. The more you chase the thing, the more you delay its arrival. Why? Because you reinforce the vibration of absence. You're saying, it's not here yet. And the universe echoes, okay, not here yet. But the moment you become it, the field shifts. Reality adjusts. That's not poetic. That's vibrational law. You attract what you are. Final truth, you were always the source. You've looked outside, searched, asked, hoped, tried, but the whole time, the power was inside. Not because you're supposed to do it alone, but because you were never missing anything. You were always the source of the love, the peace, the clarity, the breakthrough, the real transformation. Stopping the chase, choosing to feel it now, choosing to be it now, not as a performance, as a remembering, because you've always been it. You just forgot. Integration, what this series was really about you. Didn't just learn about quantum shifts, you lived them. In 5 steps, you traveled from noise to stillness, from thought to emotion, from emotion to coherence, from coherence to embodiment. This wasn't just a video, it was a recalibration. You are not a person walking through time. You are time collapsing into presence. You are space organizing itself into form. You are frequency choosing itself moment by moment. You are not a seeker anymore. You are the path. If this series stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Come back to these practices. Rewatch the part that cracked you open. Comment below with what you're letting go of and what you're becoming. Subscribe to stay connected to this new resonance, because this isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new signal, and you've just tuned in.